What is good with my people out there, man? It's your round Pack Boy Dodo checking back in with another episode of the Round the Clock Thinkers Show, man. And you already know what I'm gonna say. Shout out to my people out there, man. I'm sipping sparkling water out the can, pure, high quality H2O out the can. No sparkling water, just alkaline. You dig? Fall weather is creeping in slowly but for surely. Where I'm at, the weather felt very fall-like. You know what I'm saying? So I got the long sleeve going today. You dig? But today, I wanted to talk about something very important, like all topics, but this one I usually preface it as an important topic. 9 times out of 10, it's even more important than the other topics. Each show is important, but when I preface it with importance, then that means it's even more important, and that you should really listen close. You dig? So the name of today's show is "You Don't Get Much from What's Easy." Right? You don't get much from what's easy. And when I say that, I know it may sound super oversimplified. It sounds simple. It sounds understandable. But let's unpack this though, because it's really heavy. You don't get much from what's easy. What's easy usually has no benefits. Unless, here's the caveat, unless you've put in work on the front end, unless you put in enough work to where it becomes easy. It becomes automatic, right? It's like a multimillionaire said, if you feel like working hard is the only way that you make a lot of money, then that's the only way that you make a lot of money, by working hard. But if someone else feels like they should be able to earn more money while they sleep than they could ever spend while they were awake, then they will also do the same thing. So it's all in what you think. But both of these people, both of these examples, at some point had to put in the hard work. Over a period of time. So when I say you don't get much from what's easy, think of someone who goes to the gym once a week, but they still eat all the foods that they shouldn't be eating. Fast food, right? Sweets, drinking sodas. And you would say to that person, do you go to the gym, or do you work out? They're like, yeah, I go to the gym once a week. Right? But there are no results because the diet hasn't changed. The frequency of exercising is too low. Because that's easy. Listen, it's easy. And then think about this. When they go to the gym, 80% of the time that they're in the gym, they're on their phone. Think about that. 80% of the time they're in the gym, they're in there on their phone. Right? The whole time. So, the progress is very unlikely. Seeing the results is very unlikely. It's too easy. If you want to grow, you have to do what's hard first. The obstacle is the way. There is an obstacle that all must go through, go over to reach a certain point. In order to succeed, you have to do the hard things. And by dealing with what's hard, you grow in so many ways that you can't even fathom, because you can't see it. That's why one of my recent videos, I talked about consistency. And how, consistency is really, it's like the game changer. Because once you become good at being consistent, showing up every day, patience just about comes as a byproduct of consistency. Right? So then you'll have patience working for you and consistency. While doing this over and over, you learn to handle hard better. The hard becomes easy. Does that make sense? The hard becomes easy from the consistency. So if you're not pushing yourself, and you don't have to do a lot, you just need to learn how to operate from your baseline and then some. You have a baseline, you have to know what it is. Don't operate from way under your baseline and play it safe. You have to operate from your base a little bit above your baseline. Operating from a little bit above your baseline will then increase your baseline to where you're operating at. And then you move the needle again. Right? It's called growing in increments. You can't make big jumps too quick, too fast, overly confident, because that's not strategy. Yeah, sure, it's not easy. It's very difficult to do this big jump. But if you do this big jump and you win one day, it's going to overwhelm you and you're not going to want to do it again because you put too much on yourself too quick. That's like somebody going to the gym. The gym is just a great example. It's like somebody going to the gym And you already, your max, last time you checked, your max was like 200 pounds squat. Squat 200 pounds. So you go in there first day on leg. First of all, you go in there the first day back in the gym and you do leg day. And you put all the heaviest weight on the bar. You basically go straight to your max weight. And you finished the workout, but you struggled through the whole workout, and now you're hella sore. You're not gonna want to go back the next day. You moved too quick, too soon. You did too much. You lifted too much. Right? When in reality, what you should have done was went in there and started light. Because you went in there on a Monday, you haven't been in the gym in forever. So you start light, right? And then once you get back in the rhythm, because showing up that's the hard part. The lifting is easy. It's easy to put the weight on the bar and get under the bar and push the weight up and do reps. It's not putting too much weight on. Don't put too much weight on. You just put just enough on. Right? Starting from your baseline. Like using common sense when it comes to, the exercise and weight regime. I'm not going to go too much into detail on that on here, but you could find information on that on the internet, on YouTube. Right? But you go in there and you start at a nice area, a nice weight size, right? You get a nice good workout in. Now you feel like coming back again, and you do the same thing again, and you choose a different set of muscles, and then you come back again and you work. Next thing you know, you've came back. You've been consistent for 7 weeks. Because the hard part is showing up, but you make it easy on yourself by not overwhelming yourself with too much weight. So you make showing up just that much easier. So you don't get much from what's easy, because showing up once and doing a lot of weight and then not showing up again and falling right back into the old patterns, that's easy if you really think about it. When New Year's come around, everybody got a gym membership. Everybody going to the gym when it's New Year's. And guess what? Gradually, they all fade away because they did not prepare for what was hard, which is showing up for forever, for the rest of your life. Whatever the goal is, you have to continue to train. You have to continue to exercise. If your goal was to go from 200 to 185, and then you go from the 200 and 185, but you still have the same eating the same eating habits, right? You still have the same things that you've been doing as far as eating, then you're going to go from that 185 right back up to 200 damn near overnight. You see what I'm saying? So that's easy. The hard part is continuing to show up and to stay at that 185. And then to do more research and learn more about how your body operates and about what you want to do as far as keeping the proper diet that fits you. Keeping the proper diet that suits your body so that you're continuously going to the gym and you're eating right. Is this all making sense? Because it's important, and you find, Denzel, he said something. He said, don't confuse progress with growth, or something to that nature. Right? Because you can be moving a lot and not covering any ground. It's hard to cover ground because covering ground requires consistency and constant learning. Consistency and constant growing in whatever area. So yeah, man, I just wanted to get on here and talk about that, man. It was really easy. You won't get much out of it. There's no fruit that come from you planting a tree and watering it once and then just forgetting about it. It's easy to take a seed, put it in the ground, cover it with dirt, and then water it, and then that's it. The hard part is showing up every day, watering the seed, pulling the weeds, keeping everything clean and ready, right? Watching the weather, knowing, paying attention. Okay, well, if it's gonna be raining all week, then I won't have to go out there and water it. Picture that. That's when it gets easy. You've been nurturing and watering a seed for 6 weeks and it's been hella hot. So you've had to attend to it even more. It's been hot and dry, a drought. So the hard part was the 6 weeks. And you handled it. Guess what? A week comes where it just rains all week. You don't even have to worry about it. You can relax. It's easy now. When you started driving, it was hella hard to drive. Right? You couldn't just hop in the car. When you first started driving, you couldn't just hop in the car and drive home. And damn near forgot how you even got there because you're so conditioned to driving because it's so second nature. When you first started driving, you had to pay attention. It was hard. It wasn't easy. If you would have tried to make driving easy, you would have made a lot of mistakes. It was hard to concentrate and focus on driving properly and getting from point A to point B safely. But then once it became automatic, then it became easy. So you don't get anything from what's easy, but you can get it all from what's hard, as long as you're not afraid to face and handle what's hard first for however long you need to handle it. Man, it's your round pack Bordello checking out. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, do what you do, man. This show is grown. It is really grown a whole lot over the years. And I'm only like 3-4 years in, you know what I'm saying? But you could go back to like the very first show, and you can see when I first kicked it off, and it's just been such a beautiful journey and a beautiful process of growing and continuing to do what I love to do, man. And this provide this information so that we could just live a better quality life, because there's so much potential out there for us, man. It's so much beauty and there's so much information that's not understood. And once we understand some of this information, our life just gets better and better. But it's your round Pack Bordello checking out. Peace.